In my last video, I revealed that I am building my own NYC speakeasy, a secret bar. But that is not the only secret. Inside of that speakeasy is going to be a private movie theater. So exciting. So I did a bunch of research on New York City speakeasies to build something authentic. But to be fair, I also need to do that with New York theaters. And so today we are going deep into the underground to uncover New York City's iconic movie palaces. And I'm taking you with me. New York has always been the theater capital of the world. And I used to work on Broadway at Disney Theatrical specifically. So this is deeply personal to me and I want to make sure that I represent it accurately. I brought along someone that knows this history better than anyone else in the entire city, possibly the world, I could say. It's Gary. Come in here, Gary.
Hey, Sarah.
This is Gary Dennis. He is one of my amazing tour guides at Funky Experiences, one of the best. And he knows New York history unlike anyone else. And that's because you actually used to own your own movie store.
Yeah. I had a movie store that had over 25,000 titles on DVD.
Whoa.
I know, right?
That's crazy. How many do you think you saw?
I saw about 80%. Well, I grew up kind of watching movies. There are things that happen in New York that did not happen anywhere else. And I'm going to say this, and I don't want any internet hassle from this. The movie industry started here. It all started here. There was a guy who moved to a building on 99th Street. He puts together a big distribution company and he called it, named it after the building he lived in, and that building's name was Paramount. Paramount Pictures was born on the Upper West Side, right?
That's right.
Marcus Lowe, the man who gave us MGM, he was from the Lower East Side. Everybody started here and they all moved west because winter, weather's better out there. You're gonna make movies cheaper out there.
I see why they did it, but the history never leaves. A lot of the theaters that opened up during that wonderful golden era of cinema don't exist today. Why is that?
There's a bunch of reasons. One reason is TV, of course. The other thing is middle-class flight, all right? The middle-class flight from the urban areas post-World War II, that's gonna have a negative impact. And plus, they built these places in areas where there's no parking, because when they built them, not as many people had cars. So you have to take that into account in 1948. You finally had an antitrust suit that was settled against the studios. The studios owned their theaters, right? Marcus Lowe put together a company that owned hundreds of theaters all over the United States. There were non-compete agreements that they made with Paramount, which kind of led to this theater happening, right? So
what is this theater?
This theater is once upon a time known as Lowe's 175th, but now it's known as the United Palace. And it is incredible. It's like someone took something valuable, put it in a locked box and kept it safe since 1930. And there was an era where you did not know, are movies gonna be a thing? Adolf Zucker started to make films that were, oh my gosh, an hour long.
And now we have movies that are like 3 hours long.
Yeah, now it's okay. But when Gone with the Wind was released, theater owners were like, oh, what are you doing?
Yeah,
how many showings can we get out of that?
I still don't think I can do that one. It's too long, no offense.
Too long, yeah. Yeah, it is.
But this theater, this is a movie theater and it also does shows now, right? And I think maybe that's what's kept it going is doing the shows?
Yes and no. Yes, it helped. What happened is that it was purchased for $600,000 from Lowe's in 1969. This theater that was not doing well, you have a 3,500 seat theater, it's going to be hard to fill it a bunch of times a day, right? You go into like a theater like, I don't know, Lowe's 84th Street, it's a black box. It's boring, right? Thomas Lamb said about his theaters, these are palaces for the common man. And movies are the most democratic thing on the planet. Everybody's equal in the dark. This is a later Lamb palace, all right? His earlier styles were kind of like Baroque gone berserk. If Southeast Asia had a Baroque era, it would look just like this theater. It's a fantasy, and that's the whole point. What are movies? Movies are fantasy. It's an escape.
Let's go in there.
Okay.
We have to go through the back entrance.
Okay.
Because this is super exclusive. I had to get special access for us, and I'm so excited because now you've really intrigued me with what we're gonna see here. I really have no idea. I just know this is an iconic theater. Let's go.
All right, where's the drugs?
Where's the drugs?
Yeah, that is that's not anthrax. It's something else.
Anthrax.
I know that's so
something else, Gary. Yeah. We entered through the backstage area, and I guess this leads to the stage. Oh my God, this looks like a literal palace.
It is.
Wow, look at the ceiling and the colors. It's so ornate. I see what you mean now with it saying it's like a bunch of different styles of architecture all in one.
It's all in one. Everything about these theaters was about a show and just impressing the audience to the millionth degree. just walking in here is impressive.
I've been to a lot of theaters. When I worked for Disney Theatrical, I have to say, by far, this is the most beautiful theater I've ever seen in my life. For the theater that I'm building, I would love to do something like this, of course, but we're working with a basement here. So what pieces of this do you think are absolutely essential to incorporate if you're making your own home theater?
I'm gonna say this right now. Most important thing, screen.
Oh, a screen. Yeah, that's a key element. I think without a screen, it's kind of a problem, yeah.
I'm going to say this is going to sound disgusting, but the mixture of popcorn and cigarette smoke was always a good smell to me, so you should try to like...
A popcorn machine.
A popcorn machine, yeah. And also, you need a Robert Morton Wonder organ, which is why this theater...
There is an organ here.
The organ here.
Where is it?
We have to ask somebody exactly
Keith.
where it is.
Keith is the general manager. There is an organ here, allegedly.
There are 1,000 pipes in this wall, and there are another 1,000 pipes in that wall. It is in the process of being restored. We have used it for demonstration for our donors. We have a huge organ donor campaign running right now.
Sounds weird when you say organ donor.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
It's an incredible organ. These things were like analog synthesizers. So if you were hearing drums, there is a drum machine, and it's being played along with the rhythm that the organist is playing with. The biggest organ in the world is the Radio City Music Hall organ, and there are pipes that are as big as telephone poles. The low note on the Radio City Music Hall organ is a rumble, and the high note, only dogs can hear it. So every dog in New York goes, what?
Is your organ like that here?
Our organ is exactly like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
In a big theater like this, the evening shows would have the orchestra play along with the movie. In the silent era, they also had sound effects, gunshots, thunder, rain. You could do all these different things with an organ.
Amazing. I did not know that organs could do that.
Full percussion, full brass, full wind.
I noticed this theater has a ghost light. A brief description of a ghost light is the theater lights never go down throughout the entire night to essentially keep the spirits of the ghosts alive. The things on here relate to stories.
They're there for you to put your own stories into.
Yeah, I like that.
That's great. I like that.
Yeah.
Put your own story on it. And there are references to things that we don't get at this point in our history, but it did mean something to other people once upon a time, right?
It's like a church to me.
Well, it's funny you say that. That's what saved this theater. Reverend Ike, he bought this theater from Lowe's for $600,000, but it was 1969. He was a very successful evangelist, and as the congregation starts to dwindle, he realized that he had to do, open it up to other things. Adele's performed here, Bjork's performed here. This place is acoustically superior.
This was the original style in 1930.
Yeah.
I love the colors. I think that's one of the things I'm really taking from here is like the reds, the golds. It's very ornate, the very unique lighting with all the crystals and the tassels. It's so many different types of architecture all in one. It does feel like you're in a palace. Whoa, this is the entranceway?
Yep.
I feel like I'm in Beauty and the Beast or something. It's literally a transformation here. Look at the ceiling. It's hand painted, I imagine. And the lighting is Moroccan lamps.
Yep.
Which is such a plot twist from a traditional theater. I just love how the different cultural references it seems all over the world.
It's just an amazing, amazing thing that happened. Thank goodness that Reverend Ike took this space and did nothing to it. What has been added to the space? Some lights and those red tassels. That's really about it. Everything about this is period correct. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like they didn't try to update. Oh, except this is not, but this is where the concession stand would have been. Concessions were always the thing with movies. You know what the original food was not popcorn, it was peanuts.
Oh, right.
But cracking the shells made too much noise, so when sound movies come into being, they want to switch to something a little bit quieter. And popcorn was cheap.
That makes sense. Yeah. What is this roped off area? Oh, wow. It's literally a sanctuary of spiritual artistry.
Yep.
That is interesting. I've never seen that in a theater.
It's a neat little spot right here. There is an era where there's nothing but movies, right? There's no TV, and people would line up. Do you remember this? You're too young.
TV was a big deal for me. Now, no one does TV. No. They do Netflix.
Once upon a time, you had to go out.
This is why this looks like this, because it was a special night out. It wasn't just like another night on the couch.
That's why she's Sarah Funky, right, guys? Because it's a special night out. All right, so the low-end tickets were 25 cents. The high-end tickets, they were 75 cents. That's a huge amount of money back then. You're making a commitment by coming here. But then, again, there's nothing else. So people went to the movies a lot more once upon a time. The peak years of movies was like 1946 or 47. You have to remember, we just got out of a war, and TV wasn't really there yet.
So essentially what I'm getting out of this is going to the movies was an experience.
Absolutely.
So I feel like for my theater that I'm building, I have to make it into an experience. And you know what I like? Those velvet curtains.
Oh yeah.
That has to happen,
Red
right?
velvet
And they
curtains.
have to be red.
Absolutely.
They have to be red with the gold
It
tassels.
should be a law.
Right?
Yeah, right? It should be like the law.
Red, it can only be red velvet
With
curtains
tassels.
with gold
Yeah.
tassels.
Yeah.
Boom,
And best
done.
remaining seats this way.
Yes.
You know, that kind of thing. Usher in a
An
uniform.
usher, that
Yeah.
will be Gary.
There's a-
I feel like I'm in Versailles or something.
Well,
Look
yeah.
at this.
Now, I hate to admit it, but I've been in the ladies' room. All right.
I have questions, Gary.
I was there on a tour. It was on a tour. It was with
A
the
tour
guy.
of the ladies' room.
Yes.
Okay.
With the Guide Association of New York. So we all went into the ladies' room, and I couldn't believe the number of stalls. I said, "Damn, this is like
How many are in the
huge."
men's room?
I have no recollection, but this room here, the VIP lounge, was, I believe, a
it open?
smoking
Let's
room. I don't know if it's open. We'll find out right now. Okay.
Oh my gosh, it is.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, here you go.
whoa. I don't think I've ever been in a building that has so many different types of architecture in one place.
This here,
This
it's hard
stained
to
glass
tell.
is
It's
beautiful.
not. Some of it's not real.
Oh, really?
And I know why. They shot a film here called The Curse of the Jade Scorpion. It was a Woody Allen picture. So they added that because it matches what's down here, and the theater just decided to leave it. This theater has appeared in Smash,
John Wick.
John Wick.
There is one window in my basement area, and I almost think I'm gonna pull this type of sticker thing to
Yeah,
cover it.
it's what it is.
As a reference to this theater. I think that would be really cool.
It's beautiful though,
It's
right?
beautiful.
And it makes absolute sense. It makes the room more private.
You see common themes throughout this theater and other Broadway theaters, and it is the reds, the golds, the deep jewel tones, and the really fascinating lighting.
Lamb, towards the end of his golden age of movie palaces, kind of switched over to real fantasy of places that are far away. Everyone was used to seeing, like you said, Versailles. People were used to that kind of architecture. When you start to pull in Eastern elements like this, right, and even to some degree this, so this looks like acorn or a pineapple, but both have meaning, all right? A pineapple is a symbol of success and welcome, and an acorn is a symbol of power, because a little acorn gives you a mighty oak tree.
Oh, you see a lot of that in Grand Central.
That's right, you do. There's like not a bad seat in this theater.
Yeah, I noticed that. Even when we're entering, it's like in a perfect view right away. I wish I could make my theater into this, but let's be realistic. So I think it's not possible. But we can take elements, right?
Yeah.
I think what I've taken from this is that beautiful red curtain with the gold tassels is a
Absolutely.
must.
Yeah.
I like the idea of symbolism.
Yeah.
I like the pineapple, the acorn references, nod to the historical references.
The smell of popcorn and cigarettes, right? Yeah.
And I don't think I'm going to add
You
the
don't need
cigarettes
You don't need
because I don't know how to get
No.
that one in there.
No,
but
me neither.
popcorn, yeah.
Although I did used to smoke, but I quit 23 years ago. Not that I'm counting, but I am.
If you want to see a great show,
Yeah.
I mean, this is the spot you come. It's iconic. There's nothing like it.
Yeah. And they have a movie series.
Yeah, they have movies, they have shows.
Lowe's 175th got a mention in a presidential inauguration.
So now, to recite it at the United Palace Theater in his Washington Heights neighborhood of New York City, here's Lin-Manuel Miranda.
What movie theater on the planet has ever had a mention in an inauguration, right? But
That's
this
true.
theater did, because this theater is special. Places like this are
Far and few between.
America's given the world a lot of grief, right? But we've also given the world a lot of beauty, and this is part of it.
This is beautiful.
Nothing like this exists anywhere in the world. Like I said, the palace for the common man, right? There you go.
Boom, that's it. Thank you, Gary.
Now I drop the mic. Boom!
If you want to meet Gary in person, you can always book a tour with him. He's awesome.
And she's awesome. I love working for her.
Wow, I got so many incredible ideas from this, and now there's one thing left to do. We researched speakeasies, we researched authentic, cinematic, beautiful movie palaces. Theater seems like too small of a word to really explain this. And next week, I'm going to be sourcing all of the things to put in my speakeasy, in my movie theater, and you're coming with me. We're going to be joined with Sonia and going to some of the most incredible stores in the city to find these authentic pieces. I'll see you then, and if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. What are you waiting for? See ya.